Hello and welcome. I am Karen Russmore and welcome to my Twitch channel. Had a little bit of issues with the audio just there for a moment. I don't know what that was about, but I think I've got it sorted now. And I'm going to be continuing on with my run of Burners of Ruin with Sanderson that I started on Thursday. Not always sure if I'm going to be playing at this time. I do kind of have a schedule of Tuesdays and Thursdays in my mind, but I also kind of really want to see how Sanderson did in the end of the day. And I had nothing better to do right now, so I figured I'd come online and continue that stream. Just a brief summary. Basically, this is a roguelike card-based game. So you start off with two adventurers. They're running through a city's alleyways, encountering guards, encountering other events. You make choices, you collect cards, you use those cards to fight the town's guards. Not entirely sure why I'm doing that, but something to do with the old king being dead and the new king being, well, not a nice guy. I started out with a mouse and a bear, and then the mouse died, and then then I recruited a wolf, then the mouse died, then the bear died, and so now it's just a wolf. Probably the strategy that this run is going has been lone wolf, as it seems to have evolved into, so it's probably a good chance that he's going to maybe survive, who knows, but we're about to find out. So I'll just be clicking on continue. Preparing for combat. I don't remember choosing an option. Okay, so Ember Dream Guard. Drum Guard? Something like that. So this is interesting. So yeah, he's got the Juggernaut, which means he'll take anything less than 5 he won't take damage for. So one of the important things is, however, is to make him bleed. I think to a certain degree, at 50 points of damage straight off the bat, so I am going to withdraw, move him out of the way, start getting some poison out. I've got 6 left, so I can do pretty much everything I've got. Make this guy bleed a bit. And then Bloodlust on this guy. Just to use up the card more than anything else and get that poison going. End the turn. So yeah, one thing, just in case you didn't catch the last stream, is the fact that because it's Lone Wolf, he gets 30 armor, but only when he's on his own. He also gets 5 extra, he gets 5 charge and 3 extra stamina. He's got Survivalist gear, which heals him up and gives him even more armor every turn. He's got Impervious, which means he gets even more armor. And he's got this poison, so every time I use a card, he'll end up doing some applying poison to the enemy, and so that will stack up and make things go in his favor. Just to use a miasma, which every time I draw an additional card, somebody gets poisoned. So I'm going to draw an additional card, and somebody gets poisoned. Shield up, because that's always useful at this stage, and I've got plenty of stamina to be going around. That roll was nice because I had charge on that. I totally forgot to realise that I had that. And because I've already got this much armor going, what is this going to apply? It's going to, if any of the hits vitality, which it won't do, bleeding 2 is applied. So I'm actually going to use this Ragged Claw. I take 1 point of damage, but it's not going to make too much of a difference. And gives me 5 points of damage going out. They've got a lot of Retaliate going. Carapace, every time you take damage for this turn. Okay, that's something that I need to be keeping an eye out for, because that could very quickly stack up. especially if I was to use some of the more advanced bleeding effects that I have going on. Quick hands, let's draw some more. These are not particularly useful. I'm going to focus fire and see what that does when it comes to... So he gets 5, and then I stab him again, and I take 5 points of... I take 10 points of damage. That's not pretty. So yeah, these guys at the top and bottom are going to be somewhat problematic. I probably shouldn't have used that solid footing, but I wanted to get my armor back up sooner rather than later. So that was a bit of a panic move. Still, the poison should start taking out these guys, so I'm mainly going to be focusing on the big guy in the middle. I assume under that he's a bear, but can't quite tell because he's got that hidden headpiece on. I'm just actually curious. My thing is saying there's somebody in the chat, but nobody's saying anything, so I'm just actually curious to see if it was anyone I knew. It isn't. So I'm not going to call them out, just in case they don't really want to say anything and they're just here for the ride. Let's add some more bleed. Let's do... Oh, that's not going to do anything because it's only 3 points of damage to that guy. 5 points of damage isn't going to do anything. Let's add some momentum by getting rid of that. That'll make it 6 points of damage and will work. There we go. It's tactics, folks. Although, to be fair, I probably should have realised that that was going to happen. Maybe... No, because I wanted to apply more bleed, didn't I? I think that's what I did. I should really pay attention. And I forgot that the charge only lasts for 1 card, so that's a whole card of doing nothing. Nobody makes too much difference. I'm going to apply a big amount of damage to that guy, and then buy some more armor, just so that I can survive this next set of impacts. Not a big issue. Doesn't always register when I click enter. Not that it's a big deal, but it's just one of them where I have to click on it twice. Oh, and my other viewer has left. Probably got bored. Don't tend to blame him. How are we doing? How are we doing? This is really starting to stack up. I mean, the poison's also starting to stack up, so hopefully that shouldn't be too big of an issue. I mean, he's going to die next round. He's going to die in a few rounds. Right, so I have this 5 charge. Do I have anything? Attack 6 times, 6 damage 3 times. So if I do that first, it's going to do a fair amount of damage. Some sharpened steel, even more sharpened steel. He's probably going to die this round. He's going to die this round, and what's it doing? Draw a card for each status effect. That's going to get some poisons out. He's going to get a lot of damage to me if I do anything major, so I'm just going to do a small amount of damage and then armor up and end my turn. Stabs me for 18, that's no problem for the amount of armor that I've got. And then, to a certain degree, don't need to really worry about anything, so I'm not going to. I don't want to risk accidentally injuring myself for the sake of him dying when the poison's going to get him. none of them are really working with the strategy that I've got of Lone Wolf and doing bleed or poisoning damage. And that's just, the 3 damage is all fine and well, but it's not really doing much for me, and it's just going to add more noise to my deck. I've already got 32 cards, so it takes a little while. I have no idea what this Knight Errant does, because I've quite literally never seen it before. So I'm going to go for that one, because I don't really need any more cards, and, well, this one will do. You hear a commotion up ahead. A few thugs are harassing decent folk, brandishing their steel and cruel-looking clubs. The situation seems to be quickly escalating to violence. Just when you begin to think about intervening, an imposing figure appears in an instant, dispatching all of the bandits with a mighty blade and devastating finesse. He meets your gaze and strides toward you. Hail and well met. Let me have a look at you. Your eyes, I can see the scourge of Malefax there. Draw your swords. Okay, so I think we've gotten into a bit of a fight. Not really a very strong hand to start with. But, everybody's got to start somewhere. It's going to be a rough ride. Gonna take 31 points of damage. 10 of that is going to be blocked. There's no point in using... Oh, I'm going to use that one just for the extra poison out there. And I'm going to use this one for the extra poison out there, although it literally does nothing. Got some additional armor from the bonuses, so that helps. But still going to take 15, which is starting to get into hit points, hopefully. As if you manage to catch my other stream, you will note that a little bit of damage can be healed up over time. And Navity is got a little more armor out there. That's 15, that's 8, 15, 31. I've got more armor than needs to be, but let's get Impervious up. While I've got the charge, let's just have a quick poke at everybody, because he also seems to be building up armor. So I'm going to focus fire on that guy. I'm going to draw some more cards and gain some more armor up, and deal X damage for each status effect. You've got 5 status effects, so take them all. 3 status effects, not 5. I can count. I just realised that my mic was up. It's on a little swivel, and it was up by the side of my head, so that might not have actually been sounding too good. That's a bit of a problem, that bleeding. Didn't realise that was going to happen. It should slowly go down, and to a certain degree, I'm not too concerned because my armor's starting to stack up, my healing's starting to stack up. So hopefully Sanderson should make it through this alive. I honestly feel this is probably one of the closest times I've ever gotten to finishing a run here on Banners of Ruin. Simply because a lot of the time, with it being a roguelike, if you don't quite get it right... Didn't they change this so that I could back out of it if I wanted? They've not changed it enough. I'm gonna get rid of this strike to get some momentum, so that when I do this on this guy, it really stacks up. Might be able to get rid of one of them. I can't. Well, let's see what this gives me. It gives me withdraw. He's gonna stab me. How many stamina do I have left? Nope, not that one yet. That one first, and then this one. And that'll give me plenty of armor just to tank out this incoming damage. And I didn't realize the poison was going to get him either. So yeah, I've just taken 5 points of bleeding damage, but I'm now getting healing 5. at the end of the round. I've got 69 out of 88 and only 2 bad guys left. Going to make this guy... let's start off with the exquisite sword because of charge. Slightly concerned that he is getting a lot of armor. Why does that say 174? Oh, maybe it's because that's the person. And mirror their armor. Gain 6 something. That is bad. The more armor I have, the more armor he's going to get. Let's see if I can't... Let's draw some cards for him. Miasma would have been nice. Let's make him bleed some more. And I've got the Bloodlust, might as well use it. See, that's concerning because he's going to get 174 armor. 184. The bleed though now should take care of them. Yeah, the bleed will definitely take care of them. Hey, Halfsinger Games, how are you? My run has ended up with a solo wolf because the mouse and the bear died, unfortunately. So yeah, the enemy wolf is going to bleed out in a few turns, which is really good because he keeps mirroring my armor, which would make it nigh on impossible for me to take him out fairly. So now I'm just going to concentrate on that hair, and by doing so I should be able to finish this off within the next couple of rounds. I was like, that Valakar is just out there. Yeah, and this Valakar is an absolute beast like Amaruk. It wasn't my intention when I started this run. I usually have the mouse and the bear, and I focus on getting the bear to be the tank. But then he died, and it was like, okay, I'm going to have to hire some more adventurers to sort this out. But then he got Lone Wolf, which just means he becomes an absolute powerhouse, gaining armor, momentum, and stamina each round, as well as some of his other abilities is just absolutely stacking up. So he's pretty much a one-man army. It's going to be interesting to see if I manage to actually finish a complete run, and it will be the first time that I've ever managed to do so. So let's see, I'm going to use Bloodlust on that guy to draw 3 cards, which will poison that guy 3 more times. Let's bleed him some more, because probably not going to get all through that armor, but he will bleed out while he's still in his suit. More bleeding. Again, I think that's probably the only realistic way I'm going to be able to finish this. I've got plenty of armor, so I'm not too worried about them. Yeah, that amount of money on a computer, I've done that like twice in the past. My current computer is a bit on the cheaper side, but I didn't have to buy a new monitor. My current computer is about £1,200, not dollars, so there's a bit of a difference there. But yeah, I have spent that kind of money on a computer before simply because I wanted the toppest of the ends, and it's just like, yeah, that's... You really do feel it when you have to send that much money away, and then it's like, what am I going to have to show for it? Something that if it doesn't work is a doorstop. But, you know, you're in good hands with Chris, I believe, and Yeah, it's just one of them things. It's well worth the investment sometimes simply because you spend that amount of money on a computer and it just goes on. I mean, I had a computer, spent that kind of money, and lasted me 7 years before I figured that I really needed to shake it up and re-upgrade it um, for something more. Um, I'm just messing around with this guy at the moment because I don't think I'm going to get through all of that armor, but let's see if I will. Um, why am I... Oh, yes, because of this overwhelm is stacking up the damage. So yeah, I might actually make it through all of that armor. He's got 6 status effects on him, and that'll take him out. I shouldn't have done that. I just realised that I would have got 7 healing if I'd passed the turn. Oh well. Let's have a look. What cards do we have? Deadly Thrill is only very useful if you can control when they're gonna die. Brawl, it's kind of nice because it hits everybody, but I've already got one in my deck, and I don't want to break a good thing by putting in another card in there. So I'm gonna play it safe, not add any more cards to my deck. Hide, discard a line, discard from each other lane, or a combat with that symbol. Again, I'm scared to click on a combat with that symbol because I don't know whether that means it's going to be more difficult or whether it's going to be easier. I just know it's not as common, so I'm going to hide. Sounds like a smart strategy. Large crowd blocks away. Chance to heal, heals by 50%. Either or kind of situation. So go for the heal 50%. Chance to improve. This is actually now going to injure me a little bit. But it will actually grant me 1 more maximum stamina. And hopefully the healing won't be too bad. I did actually see something earlier. Quite curiously, I'm now at max level, which is level 8. I didn't choose the 3rd card because nothing favourable came up, but there's also an empty slot there for another passive, and I don't know how you'd be able to fill that. Being at max level, and you only get these on the passives on level up, as far as I'm aware. But it's good to know that he is at the peak performance. Could have gone for that crossroads and just cleared everything out to this level, but to a certain degree. I want to keep trying out the strategy of making sure it still works. That's going to be 40. I'm probably not going to get all that 40 armor, so let's just move out of the way so it'll hit nothing. Let's put the focus fire on that guy, and let's start off rolling with nothing because I need to do more than 5 points of damage. I will probably keep forgetting that when it comes to those juggernauts. I'm so scared for this wolf as well. It's sort of like this, when I was playing it the other day, it's sort of like, yeah, my mouse died, and it was sort of like, yeah, this is the beginning of the end. It's not really going to work out. Then a couple of rounds later, the bear died, and it's like, nope, so I'm going to call it here. He's probably going to die within the next couple of rounds. Then he leveled up, got that lone wolf, and it's just been bulldozing everything since then. But because this is so close to the end that I've managed to get compared to my other playthroughs, it's like something is going to creep up and make this all go wrong, but somehow he just always manages to pull it off, and that's not going to do anything, but it is actually going to get another poison out there. So that'll be a good thing. His things are stacking up nicely. So luckily, because of my stacking armor, I'm already up to 100 armor, so none of these attacks are really going to get through. But they do have a bit of bleed. He's going to make him bleed a bit, but I've got my restoration, which will heal him up pretty much for all the bleed that will be done, hopefully by the end of this combat. I want to keep stacking that bleed so that it doesn't run out, but I've not got anything to do that. This actually is not a good hand. It's all just adding onto the impressive amounts of armor that I've already got. But I won't look a gift horse in the mouth. He's going to shield up some more. That's going to do 10 points of damage. There's no point in using that on him. I'll use it on that guy instead. That still gets out the poison. And end my turn. What's that going to do? Only apply if opponent has apply 10 crippling. That doesn't look good. Whenever this character moves, they take damage equal to a crippled stacks. This ticks down by 1 at the end of each turn. He's now got 20 crippled stacks. That would be bad if he now had to move. Hopefully, I remember that if I get anything out that allows him to move. Got the miasma up. Let's stack that bleed into this guy. He's also getting healing from somewhere, and I don't know where. Or was it that it wasn't high enough to get through that juggernaut? Who knows? He's now out of armor. Gonna focus on this guy for now, and let's see if I can't thin out their numbers a little. Hopefully, to a certain degree, we'll get out the bleeding rupture card. Start of next time, then I can use his charge and all that bleeding. That hurt. He forced him to move, but luckily it goes into armor, not into hit points. Yeah, alright. You have fun with your editing. Thank you for the look, and thank you for joining me at least for a short while. I'm going to try and keep this guy desperately alive. Right, so I don't have the cards that I want, but I can make him bleed some more. It's probably not necessary, but kind of keep that up until he disappears. Draw a card for each status effect. That'll give me 6 cards. I'll get them 6 more poison, and me more options. I got a lot of options here. Right, let's do that because that's always nice amounts of damage. That's only really good if I've got my charge up, and I don't. Deal 5 damage for each different status effect. Let's apply it to the guy with 4 different status effects. Momentum would help with that. Is there one that I want to discard? I'll discard the solid footing. So let's rush this guy and do 12 points of damage, I think. Right, how much stamina do I have left? I've got 4 stamina and 4 cards requiring stamina. Let's actually pull out the second wind. Let's do the strike rather than taking cover, because I don't think I really need any more armor. I mean, more is better, but at the same token, I don't think they're going to get through all 100. Unless they did actually manage to just bounce me around this battlefield, but I don't think they're the right kind of people to do this. Alright, more sharpened steel. More sharpened steel. I can't move my guy around even if I did want to. I'm going to make this guy at the top bleed a little. Let's vanguard this guy. Strike him. Armor up. And rush this guy. The poison really is starting to stack up out here. Still not enough to get through to the bear though. The bear on their team is an absolute bit of a beast. But at the same token, he's got the bleed down, so I don't think he's going to make it. He's probably going to actually be the last man standing on their team, because bottom guy is going to die from poison, top guy is going to die from poison, and this guy might, but I'm going to focus on him just to really add this all up and in there. Quick hands, draw some more cards. I'd like, well, let's brawl down the line. I've got nothing else which will actually injure him. He's not bleeding. So all of these cards kind of are pointless, but I like to be sure to, well, stack up that poison. Bear takes 19 poison and dies, and Wolf takes poison and dies. And Sanderson lives and is now fully healed again. Reckless Aid only really works if you've got allies. Reserves, again, draws a character if you've got any on the back ranks. Bank ranks gain a vigor. I don't have anybody on the back rank. And Vanguard is nice, but it's again, it's not anything that's blowing me away to the point where I want to risk mixing up my deck. That is very much working for me right now. Okay, I'm just 10 steps away from this final checkpoint. I don't even know what happens when you get to the final checkpoint. It might just go, yeah, you've completed Route 1, now go on to Route 2. And I'm going to be like, okay, maybe Sanderson's going to have quite a long journey ahead of him. I just don't like it when they actually start off with more health and armor than I do. Luckily, we've not got anybody major out. So I've got 8 stamina. Let's make him bleed. Let's apply that because I can. I should have focused fire earlier, but I'm going to focus fire on that guy. Vanguard him up. And then block so that I can not take some of this 60 points of damage. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Yeah, I could have done with a dodge in there somewhere. But still, he'll survive this and hopefully heal up before the next combat. This time they're going to apply bleed damage. Great stuff. Okay. 12, 12, 12 is 36, so I do need a little more armor on that. Momentum discard for additional. I'm actually just going to stack that up for the next round. Let's focus fire on one guy. Zone of control whenever somebody moves. I'm not moving, so let's just discard, stack it up. Heals 3, goes down to 2, and then gets some bleed on him. Hopefully it's not too much bleed. And is this the... Yeah, it's going to apply bleed no matter whether it does damage or not to him. So he's up to 3 bleed. That's, again, not the worst thing in the world, seeing as I've got 4 regeneration healing on him. He's got 8 charge and 6 damage. I'm gonna do this straight down the line and give everybody 14 points of damage. And then exquisite sword to really get into that guy. Armor up a lot, thanks to his shield, and throw this out on that guy. It's not much damage, but it's an extra poison out there. The guy in the middle is pretty much over. The guy at the bottom is going to probably go down in a few rounds. That's slightly concerning that they've got 30 cripple on me. But at the same time, it's not the end of the world. He dies. So let's just, I'm going to try and take a focus on this guy at the bottom just to try and get another guy out of the way. These cards really are stacking up the armor, but that's not, I mean it helps, but at the same token slightly concerned that if these guys start moving me, that's going to be 90 points of damage. And I think it will actually move me for 2 of them, so it's actually now down to 60 points of damage. So good job the guy in the middle went out, because that's just trimmed off a lot of armor, but again not too big of an issue. The bleeding's now over. He's down to 50 points of health, but he's gaining 6 around. Let's continue focus on this guy at the bottom, because if I can get it down to 1, then maybe, just maybe, I can keep this guy going for long enough that the healing really kicks off and I don't end up starting off the next fight with only 50 hit points. Because at some point it's going to get to the point of, yeah, he's not going to survive if it starts. You know, it's that initial starting of the round where he doesn't start off with much armor that's the very tricky part. You know, if there was more armor right at the start, I won't be so concerned. Okay, he's now up to 22. Let's do some poison. Actually, I wonder, I'm going to do something that I don't particularly like doing, which is zone of control, deals 20 damage to an opponent's lane, gains zone of control, when opponent moves gain 2 momentum. Part of me is just going to take the defensive so that I can get, 7 points of healing, 8 points of healing, and see if I can't get fully healed up before he bleeds out. But that's going to cause me to bleed, so I mean, to a certain degree, he's not going to survive, even if I just hit end turn right now. There's nothing here that will give me any further healing. So I got up to 72 before this guy dies of the poison and bleed. So I'm reasonably happy with that. I would have preferred it if he'd lasted slightly longer and didn't hurt me so much. If the final blow dealt is 13 or more, gain 2 stamina and gain 4 healing, it's not going to cost me. I've got a fair amount of drawing out, and that extra healing is probably not a bad thing, so I'm actually going to take that card. Don't need any cards, so I'm just going to heal up. I'm just really paranoid about him, that initial strike getting off and crippling him from the word go. Nothing there strikes my fancy. They turn into drunken guards. Chance to offload gets rid of something that I don't want. Is there anything in this deck that's actually hurting me if it comes up? I mean, the ruin is, but at the same token, it's not the end of the world, and it does deal 5 points of damage, and most of the time the armor can take it. So I don't really want to offload anything. I don't want to duplicate anything. I'm just going to take the Florians. Another quick round or a combat. Going to take one of the combats. It's a big bear again with the Juggernaut ability. Let's see what happens if I focus on not him to begin with. Let's see if that actually helps out at all. Type formation, I've got stamina for days. Deal 5 damage for each unique status effect. There's 2 of them, that's another couple of points of damage. I got 30 armor out of that. They're going to do 40 points of damage. So down 10 hit points, but as we've seen, going down right at the start is not ultimately going to cripple him. He should be able to pick it back up as long as there's not too much in the way of bleeding and the cripple that happens. I'm going to use that 5 points of charge on the Exquisite Sword to do 33 rather than the base 18. What do I have? I've got 9 stamina. Let's draw another card. Let's get this miasma out. Let's use the round shield for lots more armor. Take cover on yourself. Wild brawl straight down the west. Boom, 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 and solid footing. That's got me up to 90 armor. They're not going to do that. They are going to get some bleed through there. But the healing is slowly going up, back to 81 hit points, and it's only going to be a couple of points of bleed, which is easily countered by the passive healing that he's getting. I think I'm going a lot round in circles a lot with what I'm talking about, but it's this moment in the game where it's like I'm really excited about this actually paying off for me. Because it's the closest I've come to finishing a game like this. This time around. This game for the first time. And that's a really exciting prospect for me. I'm going to withdraw simply because it gives me a little extra armor, and he gets to avoid taking any damage for this round. So I've been thinking about what I want to do long term with this channel. There's a couple of games out there that I really want to play that are going to be a lot more longer term. I really didn't expect this Banner of Ruins run to go over the number of go over 2 streams. I figured it would just be 1 stream and I get a couple of runs in there. The fact that it takes so long kind of interesting to me. Okay, so this should actually apply because that's going to take the charge. So he's now on 9 healing, he's down 6 hit points, he's got 144 armor. I think I'm now just in the stage of cleaning up. Apply it to that guy because it's just going to draw more cards. He's going to die this round. My hand is full and you may not draw any more cards. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I need to pay attention to that in the future, I suppose. Let's apply some more bleeding to that guy. And then let's get some arterial rupture on there. That's 33 points of damage. The other one will be 33 points of damage. He'll be dead. And then I just need to concentrate on the bear. All these strikes are going to do absolutely nothing against the bear. But at the same token, hopefully some of these strikes will actually poison the bear up because of the plagued. So yeah, my main plan at the moment is to play Pathfinder Kingsmaker. It's a computer RPG set in the Pathfinder universe. It's based off one of their adventure paths that they came out with years ago. It's the first, one of the first, because I do know that there's a Pathfinder Online MMORPG, but I don't know which came first, whether it was Pathfinder Kingsmaker or that. But from what I've seen, the MMORPG is pretty much just like every other MMO out there. You play a character, you run around, you do things, but it's all on your own. Kingsmaker heralds back to the days of Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale, Planescape Torment, where you're in control of a group of individuals rather than just the one, and as part of those groups, as part of that group of individuals, you can drop people out, you can bring people in. It's Pathfinder, so it's probably going to have a reasonably good plot in there. I've tried to play it before, but I get so far into it and then I get distracted with another game. And when I get distracted with another game, it's all like, okay, yeah, I'll get back to Pathfinder Kingsmaker later. I never get around to getting back to it. And then several months go by and I'll load up the game and it's like, I can't remember what I'm doing. I can't remember what the plot was, and why am I playing a wizard? I don't really feel like playing a wizard. I feel like playing a fighter right now. And those kind of things start to creep in to the point where it's like, you know what, I'm just going to start again. And I've started the game again probably 6 or 7 times now, and still not gotten through the first chapter. So what I'm going to be doing is hopefully streaming this, and that is going to give me a bit more drive to see it through to the end. This bear is really taking a lot of work to get through that armor of his, but he's up to 33 poison and 11 bleed, so that's just taking out most of his health in the one round. Next round it's 43. Sanderson's up to 281. Really not concerned about him. That should probably finish him off in terms of when it passes over to his turn, especially seeing as though that overwhelm is stacking that damage in. Oh no, it didn't even need to go to his turn. Bloodless deal 8 damage applied to charge to another ally. That's no point because I'm going lone wolf. Deal 5 damage, breaks armor, then deal more damage. Not interested. Armor breaks very few times in this game. Okay, I can either face a bunch of combats or grab a quick round. I'm gonna grab the quick round. Buy cards from the juggler. Let's see what he's got. No, nothing there that's saying buy me. Let's crossroads, get that down to the final level. I get to either go to the tavern and buy additional people. Really don't want to. It'd take most of my money. Heal up, I'm already healed. Or I can go take a look at provisions. This guy actually has 8 choices rather than the usual 4. Removes all bleeding from an ally, apply 5 shield. That's a good idea. If Sanderson does take a lot of damage in bleeding, that should allow me to clear it up a lot better than waiting it out. Nothing else is standing out. I'm gonna take it, and hopefully this is it. I'm a little bit nervous. Do I want to press this button? Enter the courtyard. You made it deep into the heart of Dawn's Point. Others are counting on you. The gold cloaks, the warden, the gold cloaks. Their famed cloaks bloom in the dawning sunlight, a grave reminder of what little time you have left. The warden, the commander of the garrison, stands before you, flanked by his elite gold cloaks. There is little time left. Finish this fight. Fight the warden. A little bit disappointed that it's ended wolf v wolf. Slightly concerned that he's got 300 hit points in total, 100 armor, 200 actual hit points. So glad that I'm starting with round shield, because that straight up is 25 hit points. Let's add some tight formation into there. I'm gonna focus fire on the warden. I'm not gonna actually start. Am I? What am I going to do? This is all magnificent plate. Start combat with 100. Whilst it's above 60, all stacks are applied. All bleeding stacks that are applied are converted into vulnerability. That's an interesting conundrum of sorts. What's that? Fury ends equal to stacks of fury and increase fury by. At the end of turn, these king equal to the stacks of fury and fury increases by 2. These guys at the front could be dangerous. So let's start with those guys. That's just getting more poison out there. Not bad, just took 5 points of damage. I don't like the fact that he's jumping from back line to front line. Deal 20 damage to an opponent rank. All opponents move swapping lane. This gains them 30 armor. Okay, let's draw some more cards. I'm still low on armor, so I'm going to use that up. Sadist Cunning on that guy. Let's draw even more cards. And nothing here is saying great. Let's do some damage. I'm probably going to try and focus fire on that guy. Just so that I can get at least one of them out of the way. If that will indeed help me at all. I really don't know at this stage. Possibly shouldn't have done that because I don't even have enough armor for all of this. Bloodlust, let's get that out. See, it's still 60 points of damage and I don't have 60 points of armor left. I mean, next round, as long as that guy doesn't flick back, it's only going to be 30 points of damage. But even then, it's more. Okay, I got 2 shield left. Okay, great stuff. I've got the miasma. Yeah, miasma up. Gain some more momentum. That can be the last thing that I do. Nothing is outstanding, so do I really want to waste my final will on moving a couple of steps? Do I have anything that will apply will, which requires will? Draw a card for each status effect. I've got 30. I'm gonna move him just because I'm so concerned at how little he's actually got. Let's bleed this guy a lot right at the back. Again, I'm just focusing down on trying to take this guy out. Once he's out of the picture, hopefully to a certain degree things will start looking up. Click the end turn. He's back up to full health. He's got the armor. He's got a lot of armor to essentially take this 30 points, leaving him with 30 points. I also evaded, so that's no damage this turn. Up to 100 shields. I am fairly confident now. Gonna try and not be too cocky with this, because at the end of the day, if this all goes wrong, I don't want it to be because I've not paid attention. It's slowly stacking up this overwhelm. I think that's all I've got left to do. That doesn't expire. Tight formation gives me an additional 8. This is an additional 15, plus the 5 is 20. I've got 150, they're doing 24. I don't want to jinx it by saying that I've got it, but I think I might have this. A little bit of bleed there, nothing too major to worry about. Slightly concerned by that fatigue, the winded, sorry, which is gonna drop my stamina down a little. But at the same token, there's nothing much to it. I can gain a couple of stamina by stabbing that guy. And there we go. Let's armor up some more. Deals X for each unique status effect on him, so let's add a bunch of status effects onto him. I don't know where all these bleeds gone. I didn't think it should have worn off by now. Bloodlust, arterial, that's not going to do anything, that's just going to get some out. He's mocking my steals the shields from the okay. Steals the shield? Does that mean that guy's not going to have any? It means that guy's not going to have any. Right, so again, not entirely sure where all his bleed went. I probably shouldn't have started with the sharpened steel. Probably should have started with the exquisite sword. But it's not really going to make too much damage because I'm not going to get through all of that armor, I don't think. But what's a strike worth these days? It's worth 16. From 5 to 16, that's not too bad. The bleed damage has been healed up. I got 260 shields. Yeah, I'm reasonably confident, but so nervous that this is all just going to come crumbling down. They're just going to turn around and change tactics and just really stack the bleed on me, or you know, they're going to stack the cripple and then just bounce me around a little bit. I'm going to concentrate on that guy in the middle at the back, because I get the feeling that once I get him out of the way, things are going to start just cascading amongst everybody else. I mean, I'm already building up a lot of poison between everybody else. It's not happening when they've got a focused amount of shielding, but you know, this guy's out of shielding, this guy's almost out of shielding, that guy just nearly ran out of shielding, and I've not really damaged them at all. I like the fact that these things, it is charging up a lot, but I've got the armor that is just absolutely overpowering that. Let's draw another card. Let's draw another card. Let's Vanguard the guy. Let's guard up because more guard is always good. Strike the guy at the back. He will die as soon as he takes a turn. Momentum for the next round. The Warden is defeated with a bit of luck, and everybody's got a healthy, in quotes, amount of poison on them. And that's not going to be going away anytime soon, I don't think. So now it's just a case of mopping up, I believe. Right, let's rush this guy. Simply because I've got 8 multiplier on there. Let's make him bleed a little. Let's make him regret bleeding. Like he had a choice. Tight formation, tight formation. Probably going to end up with a lot more armor than they'll ever be able to get through. But that will keep Sanderson alive. How's my coffee doing? Oy. Slightly concerned that this guy and this guy have built up nearly 200 points of armor. And they made me bleed a little bit. I mean, it's counted out, just drastically by the amount of restoration I've got, but I'm still concerned about it enough to use that, which completely negated it. Discard a card to gain momentum. Going to use it simply so that I can rush for a +8 on each of these. Let's focus on this guy for a little bit. 32, 27, that's taking him down to 27. Let's murder this guy up a little. That should be enough to take him out as well. No, it's not, it's a couple of points short. But at least I shouldn't need to do anything more to him. Now to focus down on the guys at the front with all of this armor to get through. But as we've seen with the boss guy, absolutely devastating when I manage to do things. When I focus down, I can really start chewing through the armor. Slightly concerned that none of that got turned into bleed. But at the same token, it's turning it into this vulnerable. I don't think that vulnerable is working. This character receives 25% more damage from attacks, and I don't think that just did it. But not to worry too much. That should only be in effect while he's above 60 armor, and I've just trimmed 80 off of him. They really do like trying to make me bleed though. So let's see, what do we have? Not got much in the way of attacking this round, so let's try and make him bleed again some more. Let's stab him a few times. See, it's only doing 1 point of damage, where it's not like this character receives 25 more damage from attacks, unless... I'm confused. That might be something that's bugged. Let's draw another card. Let's strike at him. Just because I can. I'm going to continue using all of these cards until I'm out of stamina. Just because it's really getting my armor up. So I can't recall how many runs I've done on this to get this far. It's probably a good 10. I don't think it's as high as 20. Which just kind of indicates, the learning curve of this a roguelike game. There's some roguelike games out there that don't get easier, or I don't feel they get easier the more you play them. Which it's not something that I particularly enjoy. I like my roguelikes where the more you play them and the more you get to the more experience you get with them. It's not just a case of luck, of getting a lucky draw at the start of it all. Sometimes it's just getting a lucky draw and knowing it's not just getting a lucky draw, it's having played it a bunch of times. I'm trying to think of one. There's a roguelike out there that every time that you do a run, you get a small amount of experience, and then that experience carries over to your next run, and your next run, and your next run. And by playing it repeatedly, your starting character slowly gets more and more powerful, to the point that when you load it up, it's a bit of a breeze for the first part of it, and I like building on that. That number is concerning. Chooses opponent with the most shield and mirrors that gains 6 fury. That is not going to be pleasant. He is going to mirror my armor, and I don't like it. So I'm going to try to make a mess of him while I have the chance. I'm actually surprised I'm up to 5 viewers right now. Welcome to my stream. Anybody who's watching for the first time, which is most of the people, because I very rarely announce these things. I am Kyron Russmer. I'm currently playing Banners of Ruin. This is a run that I started on Thursday and is probably the closest I've got to beating this game since I started playing it the other week. It's still in early access. I do tend to ramble a lot. I will talk about my tactics when I feel like they're worth talking about. At the moment, I am just trying to get rid of these guys, but this guy is just going to grab a lot of armor from me, so it might take a while for me to be able to take him out. And I've just realized that they've got up to 15 points of bleed on me. So I want to nip that in the bud, because I am gaining 15 points of healing from this restoration. But at the same token, if that bleeding stacks up much more, then it's likely to cause me issues. I'm gonna keep... Oh, Shazbot, that's going to take a while. One of the things is these guys have the ability that once their armor is over 60, bleeding becomes vulnerability. And I don't feel the vulnerability is working correctly. I'm not sure. But at the same token, it means that I can't just stack the bleed. The bleeding comes straight off hit points rather than armor, and as part of that, you can make somebody bleed out without having to burn through all of their armor. The problem is they're not taking the bleed as they should be taking the bleed. They're taking the bleed as vulnerability, and as part of that, it means I can't just keep stacking up the bleed, which means that they're not going to bleed out anytime soon. I think I'm going to concentrate on him for the moment. The other guy's got a lot of poison on him, and that poison will eventually keep accumulating up, and eventually burn through all of that armor that he's just stolen from me. This is actually potentially going to become a interesting issue where I'm just going to have to keep ramping up that poison on them in the vain hopes that it actually outweighs how much armor they're able to steal from me. Because, when this guy had 120, this guy stole 400 from me. I've managed to get it down by a fair amount, but then this guy just goes ahead and steals my almost 500. His poison's up to 51, this guy's up to 35. I don't really think that's going to be too much of a problem. I'm really interested in this game, but I've seen many complaints about its balance. Great commentary. Thank you for that, Firewater Bloom. Yes, I don't really know about the balance too much. It's still in early access. They're still doing improvements to the quality of life, and it's one of them. With roguelikes, the balance is always going to be an issue, because you'll start it up some days and you'll just get wiped out straight away because you got unlucky. And it's very difficult sometimes to go into a roguelike game with a particular strategy and go, yes, that's a strategy I'm going to use, because at some point it'll say, oh, pick one of these cards, and it will be nothing to do with that strategy. I don't generally go with a lone wolf kind of strategy. I like having a bigger party with more targets and more people doing more damage, because you've got lots of people with stamina to do the damage. But at the same token, when everybody else died in the party and this option came up, it's just been sort of like, yep, I can keep stacking the armor. I got Impervious, which furthermore stacks the armor. Survivalist gear, which provides with the healing and even more stacking of the armor. And this poison basically means every time I play a card, somebody gets some damage adding onto their total. So this is the first time that I've played it, and I'm looking, I think this is kind of towards the end game of this particular run. I don't know, because it is the furthest that I've ever gotten. But, you know, from what I've played, it's not that much of a difficult roguelike. I've certainly played worse roguelikes where it's just like it's so random that you can't even think what possible strategies there are, because you just almost know that it's always going to pick a strategy, or you're going to be forced to try to play a strategy that you're not familiar with, and then it'll do something random, and you'll then have even more to contend with that you weren't originally planning on. Possibly shouldn't have rushed him. I'm slightly concerned that they're still stacking up that bleeding. At the moment, it's just a battle of attrition between me and these guys. They've got far too much armor, and most of the time it's just that I use all of my cards to build up my armor and do some damage. And there we have it. And slightly concerned that we've got the bleed above 16, but one of these cards should now be a heal. I've not seen it in a while. No, it just got mixed back in there. Field dressing, but at the same token, I'm going to take 15 points, secure for 15, so that's going to balance out. I think it's just a case of hoping that that card comes up sooner rather than later. I think that's the best I can do with my rush. Still so difficult just to get through all this armor that they keep stealing from me. At this stage it's just playing out more and more cards so that this poison keeps ticking up. 65 on that guy, 66, 45 on this other guy. You know, it's like do 3 points of damage. If it kills him, then I'll draw 3 cards. It's not going to kill him, but it is getting his poison up to a 69. Nice. And that guy is currently at 45. Over to their turns, chips away at them a little. Sanderson is still only down just 1 hit point if they apply too much bleed. But now here's the thing, he's going to steal 446 armor from me. And so we're back to trying to chip away again and hopefully build up some more poison. I guess it depends on the game. Some roguelikes allow for more planning, like Hades. I've not played Hades. I shall make a note of Hades because I do kind of like a little bit of planning. I do kind of like the fact that with roguelikes, you know, you never know what you're going to get, and if you get lucky, then it's easy. But I also prefer those where you can build it up over time. This loot was clearly not accounted for from the devs. Yeah, probably not, or it was something, you know, yeah, it's not the most enjoyable loop that could have occurred. I think I'm still going to win simply because they're not doing anywhere near enough damage to me I say that I've just got knocked down to 66, but at the same token, he's now taking 73 a turn. He's taking 46 a turn. I don't think my armor is increasing at a high enough rate. I mean, that's one other option that I've got, is actually stop trying to build up my armor. I might try that for a while. Let's see what happens if I get it down to about a 200. I'm kind of nervous though, because one of my main things is that I want to keep him alive, and that mainly means keeping the armor up. But I might let it run down a little bit so that if I do steal it again, it doesn't get up quite so high. But no, yeah, with that Hades, what's the general theme of the game? I mean, on my previous stream I talked about 2 other roguelikes, how this one compares to Slay the Spire, which has a very similar feel to it. But at the same token, that is one that it is a lot more punishing, I find, than this. This one, yes, you do get into situations like this where you've just got a lot of little things going on, but if you're not paying attention with Slay the Spire, you can very easily accidentally kill yourself, because it's like, oh, I didn't notice that every time I hit them they're going to get more retribution strikes, and as I do 5 attacks to them, that's a lot of retribution strikes that are going to end up having. One of the things that I think that I possibly need to go speak with the devs about on this, and when I say go speak to them, I mean raise a bug and tell them, look, what's this vulnerable all about? It says this character receives 25% more damage from attacks. They're not dealing that much damage from, much more damage to me, and they're also not taking that much more damage. So what's that effect supposed to be? It is early access. There's probably a few more bugs in there that they've not quite taken care of yet. But at the end of the day, at least they've not said that everything is fine, released it as a game, and then abandoned it. They do say that it is early access. Wild Brawl, that guy. Again, I'm just going to try to not do so much of the armoring up. Let's see if they can whittle me down a little while I bring up their poisons. Quite happy that that guy at the top's got now 86. Not sure how frequently they're actually stealing my armor, but I am concerned that I've still not been able to do any more damage to this guy since it really started getting to the one line, because that's the other thing that might also be a little bit out of balance, is the fact that I didn't take down the front line and then the back line. I focused on the back line. Right, rush this guy because of my charge. Vanguard. Back guy's on 90 poison. Draw a card. Strike this guy. Stab this guy some more. And double check for yes, I'm okay. 92 and 56 poisons. But yeah, there's another game out there called Monster Train. It's another roguelike. I like that because there is some degree of planning in it. You start off with a single faction, and as you play the game you can gain experience to open up more factions. Those factions have very particular play styles. So you can go for, the tanking, the retribution, the healing. I can't remember too much more than that. It's been a little while since I played it, but once you've opened up more than one faction, when you start the game, you choose your main faction and your allied faction. So it's like I'm mainly tanking, but I'm also taking a little bit of healing. And always you've got this main hero character, and straight from the word go, you give them their first ability. There's 3 choices. You're presented with 2 each run. You pick one or the other, and it is a very it sets the tone for the game. So it might be sort of with Retribution, for example. It's a Fawn's ability, so every time you get hit, you do more damage to them, and it stacks based on how much healing you get. So you're going for a very, I don't care about dealing damage, I just want to heal myself up, stack up this Fawn, so that then when they hit me, it does the damage to them. Hades has a Pact of Punishment mechanic. To unlock more weapons, you have to get increasing debuffs, and some are really nasty. New moveset for bosses, up to minus 100% healing and plus 100% enemy damage. Okay, so for everything that you want to do, it's gonna cost you something. That's a rough gist that I got from that. Yeah, the Monster Train is fairly well balanced, I found. It's a little bit difficult to really, the first time I completed it, it was with one of the factions, and once that I completed it with that faction, it was like, this is a tactic that works for me. And then I tried playing a different faction, and I just found myself going, I wish I was playing the other faction because this is so much easier. So I kind of put that on the back burner. I might get around to playing it a little bit more at some point. But for the moment, it's just like, no, I miss playing this one faction because it was a bit of an easier ride. That was just my experience, though. Anyway, back on with trying to get rid of these guys' armor. It's not going to do any actual damage, but I just want to get some degree of movement in their poisons. Stab them some more. See, this guy at the back's got up to 95 stacks of poison. This guy at the front's got 60. They should start bleeding. They should start getting to the point of running out of armor soon. But I don't know how long it's going to be before. Yeah, this guy's just stolen. He's going to steal my armor again. But it's actually just going to be this 150 or maybe this 86. Not sure where it's going to end up. Slightly concerned that the bleeding has started stacking. Gonna focus on this guy. Possibly should focus on the guy at the top. But if there's any chance that this... Yeah, that's probably the wrong target and tactic, wasn't it? Because it's not doing anything for me or him. Yeah, probably should have focused on the guy at the top. But, alas. I made a lot of mistakes in this game, and so far it's not worked out too badly for me. I do hope the field dressing comes up soon. Is that in my deck? Yes, it's in my deck, so it might come out this hand of next. Because they've really got that bleeding stacked up there. And that's one of the things, if you bleed to death, there's no amount of armor that will stop that. Okay, so we're back to trying to get rid of this guy's armor. I'm gonna focus on him for a little, for this round at least, but next round might actually switch it up to the guy at the top, because when he's actually gonna just boost up his armor now. So, Shazbot. Yeah, this is turning into a bit of a chore. This, I think it will. I don't usually write to developers and tell them about these things. I kind of like leave it to them to figure out. But seeing as though I'm streaming, and I mean, I don't know how long I've been at this fight now. All I know is it's been going on a hell of a long time, and I've even got bored a little bit of commentating on it, but he should now be in the range to take this. He now bleeds. He now can have the arterial rupture, which is going to take his Dharma down even more, take out some more bloodlust. I've only got 127 left, but I'm just going to keep it for now, ticking down just in case this guy at the top steals even more. Slightly concerned with what's going on with these numbers. That was a lot of damage. Okay, that's the other thing that's slightly concerning. This has gotten up to increases by 2 every time, and so he's getting 61 charge for 15. That's 75. That's gonna hurt next round. I need to hurt him, and I need to start stacking up my defenses again, because otherwise he's just going to burn through the last of it, and he's going to start getting into hit points. I wish I'd have been paying slightly more attention to that. Oh well, you live and learn, and like I say, I've made a lot of mistakes. Yeah, finally one down. He's also got like 115 poison on him, so now that he's now that the friend's gone down as well, every card that I'm playing out is stacking just on him on the poison. I'm just glad that I realised that he was going to start doing a lot more punching, because if I'd have allowed that to go on for too long, it could have taken out the rest of my armour and straight away gone into the hit points. He is dead this round. I can't use that one because I'm out of will. Rush is up. Let's do this one instead. He's only got, or he will only have 16. He's going to take 122 poison. I think I could actually kill him on the cards alone, but as I might have said before, I'm not entirely sure if this is actually the end, and I want to finish on full hit points, so end my turn, hit points get restored, and he takes poison damage. And finally, it is over. 56 rounds that took. I just got another achievement. It didn't give me any rewards from it. Opponents have armor and passives too. Make sure you check them out and learn about them. Yeah. What was that? Defeat the garrison commander was the achievement. Move on. Victory! You won 17 combat encounters, won 2 elite combat encounters, 3 streaks completed, finished with 34 cards, lost 2 members of the party, finished with 2,053 Florians, and gained 715 experience. And that's it. I mean, I'm glad that I did it, and I'm very happy that I've managed to finish this. But a little more pomp and ceremony wouldn't have gone amiss for the ending. It was all like, congratulations, you've won. It didn't look much more different from the congratulations, you've lost screens. Again, early access, they might change that. They might have a little bit of the story. Firewater Boom, just as you're here, one of the things that you'll have noticed on that win screen was the experience you gained. You go up in tiers. As you go through the tiers, you get unlock tokens. These unlock tokens allow you to unlock more cards and more passive abilities. But there's only the 18 of them. I've unlocked everything under the Rogue, which is what gave me the Lone Wolf, which is pretty clutch and allowed me to win that game. but at the same token, I'm yet to really, figure out exactly, you know, I don't know. I just feel like they could do more with this unlocking and potentially allowing you to turn them on and off so that it's like, yes, I want to unlock all these because they synergize fairly well together. But if they give you too many options, you never know what you're going to get. These are 3 passive abilities. Um, here's another 3. Here's another 3. Each character can only take 3 passive abilities if they manage to make it all the way up to level 8. And there's got to be a bunch that are unlocked when you first get the game, or otherwise you'd level up a character and there just won't be anything to choose from. So there's no choice for you to pick and choose where that synergy might be coming from. Yeah, it's pretty much a complete game. I don't know where they intend on going with it. Whether they want to pad it out with more plot, maybe a new game plus or something along them lines. I expected something as a reward for actually winning the game more than just a sterile statistics screen and a bit of experience. Um, these unlocks, I wouldn't say that they're trivial per se, but at the same token, I'm not even going to read too much about what they do. I'm just going to unlock them and get back into a new run. That's what I did originally. That's probably what I'm going to do now. So the rewards aren't big enough for me to care about whether I'm making the right choices or not. Let's start off as a beaver and a hare. Let's see how different this is. Again, same start, get provisions. I possibly should have, I can actually look. Greatsword, hatchet, they're exactly the same weapons that you got with the bear and the mouse at the start. This deck looks pretty much exactly the same as the deck that you start with as the bear and the mouse. That's a little bit disappointing. Pretty much standard choices here because it's just all the different cards that you can get hold of. And so yes, I'm now going into the Forgotten Tunnel. This is exactly the same. I mean, don't get me wrong, the artwork is very nice in this game. It's got that red wall kind of feel to it. It doesn't seem out of place at all. But at the same token, there's only so far that graphics will get you in a game. You have to have some degree of substance underneath, or people are going to get bored of it. So guard and this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. I mean, I could dodge him out of the way, but there's no point. What I'm gunning for here is trying to get them to level up and see if there's a major difference between what cards you get as part of your characters. So yeah, they're even wearing the light armor and the medium armor that the bear and the mouse start with. I mean, that could just be that they've not finished off that section yet. I think to a certain degree, from a personal recommendation, it's good. If you've got the money and you're curious, buy it. If you haven't got the money, wait until it's on sale. And if you're not sure about it, I'd wait until it gets out of early access and see where they consider it to be a finished product. Apply marked to the enemy rank. If there is more than one race on the enemy rank, apply marked. When this character dies, stacks of vulnerable equal to equal to marked are applied to each member's. Okay, that's just very confusing, and the vulnerable doesn't really seem to be working correctly at the moment, so who knows. Kick, I'm just going to take the second wind to draw another card. Yeah. Let's see if I can't get it to a point where they've leveled up. Because that could be another facet of the different things. It's all like, yeah, you level up, and when you level up, you get a lot more choices in tactics. No, don't discard that, discard that. You shield up. You deal some damage, and you get even more momentum. Let's see if we can't pull out the rush card and get that momentum to mean a lot of damage. Alright, thank you very much for joining me here. I'll see you around, catch you later. I won't always be playing roguelikes, so if you do care to come back and I'm not playing Banners of Ruin, I might be playing just some other general role-playing game. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. Nope, don't do that one. Yeah, rush that guy. That should do lots of damage. Vanguard will pretty much take out the guy. I have the greatsword and I can just take out both of them. That's another thing that's a little bit weird. I think the artwork on two cards being identical, it's a little bit disappointing to see. You know, it's one of the main reasons why you collect these things, and also it's like, oh, you know, it comes up with the cards, you look at it and it's like, oh, that card's really good, because it's not the same thing. None of them are really doing it for me. Let's just take trauma. I've just realized the time. I've got like 15 minutes before I gotta go. The Crazy Weasel again looks like it's early access art rather than finished work. I just want to see if the... Oh, here we go. That should give me experience to level them up. And you're a weasel, apparently. So yeah, the skills here are... Well, actually, no, I've seen Strange Mist on a bear. I'm not sure about active recovery. I'm certainly sure that I've seen Sadis on a different racial heritage part. Nefarious I've definitely seen, and this is one of the things up until this moment in time, every time that I've started, I've been playing the mouse and the bear. This is the weasel and the hare, and a lot of these things I've already seen, so they're not tremendously unique to the heritage of the characters. Which again, you know, it's a little bit disappointing to see. I would like to see it that if you've got a bear, if you've got a mouse, if you've got a wolf, if you've got a any of the race heritages, I can't say that word. Heritages. Depending on the different animals these are all based off. You know, it'd be nice to see different talents for each animal type, and that way it's less predictive about what you're going to see here, and it will give you reasons to start with different things, and reasons when you go to the tavern that there might be a wolf, a rabbit, and a mouse available. And it's like, to fit the group, I really want to go with the mouse, despite the fact that his stats and his abilities don't quite match up, aren't quite as powerful as the other things that are currently going on. So yeah, I mean, I've completed it. I'm not disappointed in owning this game. I'm quite curious to see where they're going to go with it. But at the same token, I don't think it's got that much replay appeal to me. Now that I've completed it with the wolf, it's like, yeah, I've completed it. Woohoo, go me. Probably gonna, I'm probably actually now going to leave this until it gets out of early access, and then I might give it another go and see how it ends up. Restores 12 vitality and remove bleed from each character in your rank. That sounds like a plan. So yeah, just looking at the time, I am going to quit out of this game for now. I might continue this run next time I stream. I might start a new game. One of the things that I have been mentioning both previously and in this time was the Monster Train roguelike, and I hope that game gets a bit of love, so I might actually stream that for a couple of sessions. Just to sort of like introduce people to that and get more noise out there about it. I'm trying to remember. One of the things about so many video games these days is I'm trying to keep the stream family friendly. And there are some games out there that aren't particularly family friendly. And Monster Train, you play the overlord of one of the hells, or something along those lines. So that might not always be the most family appropriate content. I can't think of anything particularly offensive in there, unless you are religious. Nothing wrong with people being religious. I am not religious, therefore what I see in Monster Train does not offend me in the slightest. But at the same token, when it comes to hells, they tend to, in some games I've seen them tend to push the borders of the difference between, sort of like a family-friendly game and a not-so-family-friendly game. So I'm going to have to give that a quick playthrough before I actually stream it and just make sure that there's nothing excessively offensive in there. So yeah, I'm going to call it here. It has been wonderful to actually complete the game. My friend Halfsinger Games, who also streams here on Twitch as Halfsinger Games, will be playing later. And she actually plays a character in a tabletop role-playing game who is also a wolf person. And she was fearful for Sanderson's life, so it'll be good to tell her that the wolf made it. But at the same token, probably not going to come back to this game next stream. Might move on to Pathfinder Kingmaker. Don't know. I'll figure it all out. But thank you for coming. Hope to see you all again soon, and stay safe, because why not? Yeah, stay safe. Or don't. It's up to you. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Alright, bye!